Here's something strange to sit with. You have never actually seen your own face. Everyone around you has, your whole life, all day long. But you've only ever seen a reflection, a reversed copy in glass, a photo that never looks quite right. The one face you can never look at directly is your own. And for almost all of human history, people barely saw even that. For 300,000 years, most humans went their entire lives with only the faintest idea of what they looked like. So who were you before you could check? Short answer, you were what you did. You knew yourself from the inside out, by your hands, your work, your voice, the way people looked back at you, not by a face you watched. Your identity lived in your actions, not your appearance. Long answer is stranger, and it changes how you'll feel about every mirror in your house. So let's reconstruct a self that was almost never seen. First, think about what a mirror actually does. It takes the one thing you can't normally observe, yourself, and hands it back to you. It turns you into something you can inspect, a subject and an object at the same time. That sounds basic. It is not. For nearly all of human existence, that loop didn't exist. You acted, and you never got to watch yourself acting. You simply were. The first mirror was water. Lean over a still pond on a calm day, and there you are, wobbling, darkened, breaking apart the moment the wind touches it. That was the only reflection most humans ever got. Not a tool you owned, a rare, fragile accident of weather and light. And think about how that shaped things. You couldn't study your face. You caught it, a glimpse, trembling, gone. You never got the steady, brutal, full-color stare we get a dozen times a day. Eventually, people made better ones. In a place called Çatalhöyük around 8,000 years ago, someone polished a piece of volcanic glass, obsidian, into a dark, dim mirror. Later came polished bronze, copper, silver. But here's the catch. These were terrible. Dark, warped, blurry, the size of your palm. They showed a shadowy hint of a face, not a face. And they were expensive, owned by the rich, the royal, the powerful. A clear look at yourself wasn't a daily habit. It was a luxury. So picture it. For most people, in most of history, you might see a blurry, partial version of your own face a handful of times in your entire life. Maybe never clearly at all. You knew your hands better than your face. You watched them work every day for decades. But the thing on the front of your head was a near total stranger. You knew your own voice only as a rumble in your chest, never a recording. You were, to yourself, a kind of rumor, pieced together from other people's reactions and a few shaky glimpses in water. Try to really feel that. You aged, and you never watched it happen. The face that greeted everyone you loved, you mostly missed it. You could spend 80 years inside a body whose face you'd recognize less reliably than your neighbors. So how did people know who they were? Through everyone else. Your face belonged to the community, not to you. Your mother knew it, your friends knew it. The whole village carried a picture of you that you yourself couldn't access. You learned what you looked like the way you learn a song you've never read, secondhand, through other people humming it back. If you wanted to know if you looked tired or older or unwell, you didn't check, you asked, or someone told you. Your appearance was a conversation, not a private inspection. Which means for most of history, do I have something in my teeth was not a problem you could solve alone. It was a community project. Your survival as a person who did not embarrass themselves depended entirely on the honesty of your friends. And here's the part that gets me. The ancient Greeks told a story about a young man named Narcissus who caught sight of his own reflection in a pool and was so transfixed he couldn't look away and wasted away staring at himself. We turned his name into an insult, a narcissist, someone in love with themselves. But that's not what the story was originally warning about. To people who almost never saw their own faces, a clear reflection was genuinely dangerous, mesmerizing, a thing that could trap you. The myth wasn't mocking vanity, it was a warning. Be careful looking at yourself for too long. You might not come back. They understood something we forgot, that watching yourself is not free. For thousands of years, that stayed true. Then, a few centuries ago, glassmakers in Venice cracked it, a way to back clear glass with a thin layer of metal and make a true mirror. Sharp, honest, unforgiving. At first, these were stupidly expensive. A fine Venetian mirror could cost more than a painting by a master. They were a flex of the ultra-rich, guarded like state secrets. The face, for the first time, was becoming something you could truly own. And then, like everything else, it got cheap. Factories learned to make mirrors by the sheet. Suddenly they were in every hallway, every bathroom, every bag. For the first time in 300,000 years, an ordinary person could look at their own face whenever they wanted. Clear, steady, as long as they liked. We had finally won the thing humans never had. We could see ourselves. And then we kept going, because a mirror only watches you when you stand in front of it. The camera in your pocket watches always. Now your own face stares back from the glass, dozens, hundreds of times a day. Front camera, video calls where you can see yourself in the corner, watching your own expressions while you talk. Shop windows, dark phone screens, the little preview before you take the photo. You see your face more in a single day than your great-great-grandmother saw hers in a year, maybe a decade. The rarest sight in human history became the most common thing in your day. And it happened so fast, nobody stopped to ask what it would do to us. We didn't just get a mirror, we strapped one to ourselves and pointed it inward. All day, forever. And something happened that the Narcissus story tried to warn us about. When you can always check, you start to. You monitor. You catch your reflection in a shop window and adjust. You notice the thing you didn't like before you noticed anything else. A face that was once just the front of your head, the thing you looked out from, became a thing you look at and judge and manage. The self stopped being something you simply were. It became something you watch. So let's reconstruct one last time what we set down. You wake up and you don't check anything. You don't know exactly what your face is doing, and it doesn't occur to you to wonder. You move through the day as a doer, not a viewer. Hands busy, eyes out on the world, not back on yourself. People react to you, and that's the only mirror you have, and it's enough. You feel beautiful or tired or strong from the inside, from how your body moves and how others meet your eyes, not from a verdict delivered by glass. You are, for your whole life, mostly a mystery to yourself, and that mystery is a kind of freedom you will never fully know. Now you can see yourself perfectly, anytime, in stunning detail. You will never wonder what you look like. You'll never be a mystery to yourself again. But we traded something for that certainty. We lost the self that wasn't being watched, the one that just acted and lived and never had to see. We gained the perfect mirror and lost the peace of being unseeable, even to ourselves. We finally got to look, and now we can't stop. So here's the question to carry with you. If you could go just one day without catching your own reflection, no glass, no screen, no checking, would you feel lost without it? Or would you feel, for the first time in a long time, like the watcher had finally closed its eyes, and you could just be the thing that lives behind your face, instead of the thing that stares at it?